Well, thank you very much for joining us for the rest of what we're going to be discussing on the show this morning. And it's our second segment from the regions. We're going to bring you updates on big stories across the country. Now, one suspect has been arrested in a head teacher's murder case in Cape Coast. We'll be giving you details of that. Ishim residents in the Western region are also protesting bad roads, and calm returns to feuding towns in the Savannah region. So connecting with us, we'll have Isaac Nonya in the Savannah region. We'll have Natalia Kwanza from the Western region as well, joining the conversation. Now, Isaac, let's quickly take a look at that development in the Savannah region, where indeed we have that uptick in violence. Now, those two communities, what is the latest you can report? My understanding is that members of the community, able-bodied members of the community, have fled, and that it's only left with children and the aged as well as women in the community. What is the latest?
Yes, that is true. This incident is true in the sense that when RESEC got to this community, they issued an order for the police to get all the perpetrators, to bring all the suspect to book. And those who bolted away, having heard the information, I believe will remain wherever they are. The other community called Kijasi, who allegedly carried the attack to the other side, they all left, including the sub-chief. Now, the interesting spectacle that we picked on the ground when we got there with RESEC is one of the sub-chiefs involved in these clashes was there. We call it the Bumbawura. He gave his account as to what happened, led to the attack or the clashes. But as to where the Kijasi Wura, who is being alleged to be having a relation with the Parama chief, vanished from the community a day to the arrival of RESEC. And we are told he has returned to the community. I will speak now. Youthful exuberance and that of those who came from other communities, the allegation is that some came from nearby communities to support one other side. This is not confirmed. And many of them who are still fleeing away are farmers. And even those who are still staying in the community are afraid, because how will they go to the farm knowing that the attackers will not be hiding somewhere, either seeking refuge or trying to further perpetrate violence against them. So the concern has to do with the farming season and these clashes, who is safe to go where and not to go to where. And then those who have run away, as to whether they will come back and also continue with their farming or not. So there are two issues here. Farming season, who is to go to the farm, who is not to go to the farm. And the crops, particularly groundnut and yam, they have started coming out. How are they going to maintain them? We also pick information that 4 elders, out of about 25 elders of the Parama chief, are going to be surcharged. That's the information we are picking. Or are going to be picked by the police.
Right. Why are they going to be picked by the police? What is the connection with these people?
The connection is that the two sides, Bumbawura and the Kijasiwura, were having problem with the gravel pits. Now, if you look at the history of that area, this current Bumbawura is the 11th sub-chief from that gate. And all the 10 chiefs who came and passed were taking royalty from that pit without any dispute. So the question they are asking is, why this 11th chief that the other person, Kijasiwura, who has never made any attempt from history to take royalty from that place, sadly is taken. Now the case was brought before the Parama chief, and the Parama chief said, look, the two of you, don't go back to that site. Only for the following day, the Kijasiwura to go back there and pay royalties. Then he was confronted. And then he said, look, the Parama chief gave the order to go back there. Then they confronted the Parama chief. How come you said the two of us should stay away only for this person to go back? He said, yes, I asked him to go. Now, the claim is that the words were put in the map of the Parama chief. But this is an old man, about 95 years old. So the allegation is that, no, some of the Parama chiefs or the sub-chief or the elders of the king or the Parama chief are those who team up with this other sub-chief to go back to pay the royalties so that they may all share the booty.
So very interesting developments, and at least we see the security officials stepping in to resolve the matter. In fact, per what I am hearing, there is a very heavy security presence in these two communities, just to avoid any sort of reprisals, because that is also a threat, right? The possibility of reprisals.
Sure. Benjamin, if you look at the history of Savannah region, when it comes to chieftaincy clashes, we can cite Kafaba, we can cite Bupe. Anytime the attack came, no matter what, there will be reprisal. So it is history that is guiding the RESEC to continue to maintain officers on the ground. As to whether they can sustain the officers for the whole year, which is the farming season, that's a very dangerous period. People hide behind the farms and perpetrate more violence. So RESEC is aware of this history and they are trying to guide against a repeat of it.
Right. These farms that have been abandoned, especially the groundnut and yam farms, what could be the social cost, even monetary cost to people in the community? A lot of them can't go back to the farms. They are afraid to do so.
The groundnut in particular, they will go back, they will be overtaken by weeds. And when the weed overpower them, the fruiting becomes a problem. The yam in particular, these herdsmen are all over in the region and that place too. So when they fail to go there and then 2 or 3 cattle found their way into the yam farm, the whole thing is gone. And all the investment is equally gone. So the pains and the poverty and the hunger that will befall these two communities is going to be huge after the rainy season.
So it is evident, it is clear that we need to resolve this quickly so that farmers can return to their farms. But tell me, what has been the general mood of the people in these two communities, especially the children, the aged, the women? What have they been sharing with you?
Well, the women who spoke to us, some said, look, the thing didn't happen here. We are the pharmacy, we are the chief palace, but it happened to the other side. We went to the other side, the other gate where they lost a relation, while a 48-year Idris Fusedi. They think that they have the right to own the place, but this attack that has befallen on them is unfortunate and they need justice. You wouldn't hear from the other side to say anything. But the women in particular are thinking that this season is good for them. This is when they pick shea fruits and convert them to shea nuts and make some domestic money out of it to feed the household. In this case, they are going to suffer, and the men too are not there to guide. So 2 in 1, the children too, schooling is a problem now. How many women were able to carry their children and walk a long distance, about 5 to 6 kilometers, with their children to school? The threat cut across all the divides in the communities.
And so far, just to wrap with you, Isaac, so far, the security apparatus there, what has been the latest achievement or development, apart from the rounding up of those people you spoke of earlier?
On the part of achievement, I think for now, one, there hasn't been any arrest. Achievement is 0, because what both sides are expecting, especially the other side, the Bumbumura side, is to get the perpetrators arrested and then also give back their gravel pit to them. The perpetrator has not been arrested, the gravel pit has been closed down, and everybody is sitting doing nothing. So the security, until they get 1 or 2 people to arrest, and also for the police and the military on the ground are able to sustain the peace that they're keeping now, we will say that there isn't a 0 achievement for now.
Isaac Nonya is our Savannah regional correspondent. Thank you so much for the insight, the light you've thrown on that issue this morning. But from the Savannah region, we come a bit down south, specifically to the western region, where residents of Ishiem have been protesting bad roads, terrible roads, in fact. And they say that, some activities of trucks also creates, further exacerbates the situation in that stretch. We have joining the conversation Natalia Kwansa, who is our Western regional correspondent. Natalia, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I see those coconut trees behind you, lovely scenery. So do tell us, though, this is not a lovely situation because the residents are really upset about the bad state of their roads. Tell us about how bad the situation is, really.
Well, Ben, so this is a road in the free zone area here in the Western region. And so you have a lot of companies moving in there. You have a lot of trucks moving on this road each and every day. There are potholes on it, but one reason why these people even had this demonstration yesterday is because of the dust, which these drivers always, these residents would always have to, stay with, especially those who have shops around and their houses around. Yeah, so it is bad, just like a lot of people in the Western region knows most roads here. You have potholes, cannot drive on smoothly. That's the best description for that road.
So they also talk about that the activity of certain trucks in the area makes the situation even worse. What has been the response to that? Trucks conveying sand, heavy duty trucks. What is the latest on that? Is there any attempt to sort of speak with this entity to ensure that maybe whatever damage is being done to the road is remedied, or is it that they just want the road fixed and that is it?
So yesterday the MC Yes, Ben. So yesterday, the MCE, Abdul Momen, was in the community to speak to the residents of those companies within that enclave, and has spoken to them that as part of their corporate social responsibilities, they should take some projects up in the community. They should try and then have peace with them. The MCE has also assured the community members that by Friday, he would come and give them positive response, because during the initial stages, the plan was that there was going to be a one.
All right, so we're going to try to reach Natalia again via the phone lines, and just to ensure that we can actually get a grasp of everything that she's making mention of. But in the Western region, Eshim residents actually poured out on the streets, and they were very upset. They actually blocked a major stretch. And their concern is, well, bad roads, and not just bad roads filled with potholes, but they're also talking about the effect of the dust. And we know, if you recall, earlier this year, late last year, a girl who is asthmatic lost her life simply because of some such situation. All of the dust on a stretch that she was in, sitting in a trottoir and all of that. So this is a very important matter. And Natalia, thank you for joining us via the phone line. So you were making a point there. Do wrap up.
Yes. So just like I was saying, the MP has given them assurance that by Friday they would hear positive news from them, because the people had planned over 1 week demonstration. And this is an area where there are a lot of companies. So if they were going to do this for 1 week, meaning a lot of revenue was going to be lost.
Right.
I've spoken to the leaders of this demonstration this morning. They said they have listened to the MC. They are waiting till Friday. If they don't hear any positive result, as in a contractor coming on the road, then they would have to begin another demonstration until they see a contractor on the road. For them, they said this is promises they've had over the years. MC is coming to promise them that, oh, we'll get it fixed. And then they stop. This the third demonstration in 2 years, and then they stop, and then that will be it. So this time they are bent on doing another demonstration if they don't hear any positive news by Friday.
Now, what was the effect of this demonstration on the Impiting stretch? Because they pretty much blocked the entire stretch, like you can see in the background. You were there in Natalia Kwanzaa. What was the effect of this on motorists?
Yes, but so this demonstration was done at various points in on the road. So if you are a driver and felt that there is another route to get somewhere, you use that route, and then you get there, and then they are burning cars there. So this, yes, from Monday 11 p.m. to yesterday, everyone had to stop everything. Cars were stranded. People could not move into the community. The police came, but they couldn't move in because these people had blocked the whole place. So if you would want to walk, then you would have to get down and then walk. But if you were coming into the communities, on that stretch and you thought of using a vehicle or anything, there was no access. Everything was brought to standstill yesterday.
So I guess the resolution now, Natalia, is that residents are going to wait till Friday and see whether anything will change, whether the entity in question will start doing something on that stretch, whether a contractor will come there. And if not, then we shall hear from them. Are there any threats of any more demonstrations?
Then can you come again?
Are there any other threats of more demonstrations? I mean, after Friday, have the people expressed any desire that if they don't see any action by Friday, like the MCE said, they might pour onto the streets again?
Sure, Ben. They said after Friday, if they don't hear any positive result, if they don't see a contractor on the road, we should expect another demonstration. And this time, they are not going to stop until they see that there is a contractor. They are not going to listen to any authority because these are promises they've had over the year.
Natalia, thank you very much for connecting with us and for bringing us the latest in that development. Now, we've gone to the Western region and the Savannah regions. We've given you a kaleidoscope view of some of the happenings across the country.